Good morning and welcome to Jeannie's World. I hadn't the slightest idea what I was going to make a video on next after December the 23rd, because after that all the fun was gone and there was nothing more to do but to spend 2 days in meditation. And I don't celebrate New Year's. I should make a lot of resolutions, but I know I'll break every one of them. So I'm just going to take the next year and go with the flow and smile. But one thing happened this week that brought back a lot of memories, and that was the death of President Carter. Now, I really don't know if he was a bad president or not. But he sure did have a lot of bad luck. I'd like to know why he sold the Panama Canal for $1. I'm sure there was a lot of pressure somewhere for that. But anyway, I remember President Carter very, very well. He's about the only president I remember very well that I had a life interest in or life experiences in. I was living in Beaumont when he was running for president and when he was elected for president. I was going to Lamar University, and I don't even know where to start the story because there are so many aspects to this story, and it'd probably take me 3 days to tell it if I told it correctly. But at the university, everybody was demonstrating, down with the Shah, down with the Shah. I'd walk past them, I went, that's the point, okay? Because the Shah had cancer. And when they put the Shah down, I was pretty sure in my heart that his son would take over. But the Shah was ousted, in my opinion, by the American government. And they placed in the Ayatollah, who had been, can't remember the word, he'd been kicked out of Iran and went into exile. Yeah, he was in exile. And they brought him back to Iran. Well, during that time, or before that time, Iranians were very, very popular, and they were handsome too. And they were on the military bases being trained by our military. And there were a lot of them. And anyway, I fell in love with one of them and I married him. But so we're in the university and they're hollering, down with the Shah, down with the Shah. On the other side, I was going to the meetings with my husband about the revolution of the Shah. And my husband said, it's going to be 25 years before they do anything. You know, they're just talking. And I went, I don't think so. You could feel the tension on the university side and the Iranian group. There was a lot of tension. So anyway, back in Iran, my husband was very powerful. And it's very sad too. And I don't know if it's before Ayatollah or after Ayatollah. I think it was after Ayatollah. But to back up, when they did overthrow the Shah, the Iranian army didn't object at all. They put roses in the barrels of their gun and accepted the Ayatollah into power. which I thought was very strange. But anyway, I was still thinking the Shah was going to make it back. And I didn't understand the politics of it. So if the American government had put Ayatollah in power, they must have been planning something. But they were betrayed. We were betrayed by the Ayatollah. The Ayatollah went into many of the Iranian towns, but they burned down the theater that belonged to my husband's family. And the weird thing about them burning down this theater was that next door was the fire department. All the people that were in that theater, they locked the doors and they all perished. Then they started taking away the land that belonged to my husband's family. And then the Ayatollahs started running around in military armed cars, and they were taking wives as young as 9 years old. And it was, I can't remember exactly how everybody was very happy when the Ayatollah came into power. And then they feared that someone would assassinate him and cause a civil war. There was so much upheaval in that time. Well, my life didn't go unscathed, nor did yours. We got that huge gas line because of the price of oil shot up. I never remember a gas line any other time in my life except during the time of President Carter. And I can't remember with the overthrow of the government if President Carter was in charge or not. I would have to look that up, or you can tell me in the comments. But they put up these big signs of the Ayatollah with the speed, and the speed limit was dropped from 75 to 55 to conserve energy. A lot of that hasn't changed after all these years. And even my church changed. We used to have Sunday school, a sacrament meeting, and then we'd have service in the evenings on Sunday. And then we had a day for the beehives, and the day for the primary, and the days for the young men. All week long, there was a church activity. Then all of a sudden, the church activity was cut. And even till today, there's one service a day on Sunday, and everything is combined into 1, 2, 3 hours. There's no more church all the time. I used to enjoy church and all the activities they gave. That came to an end. And other than them doing all this destruction and taking young brides and, kind of destroying my husband's family, they were a big landowner and things like that. The song they sang was Bomb, Bomb, Bomb Iran, Bomb, Bomb, Bomb Iran. Because the tensions had changed from getting rid of the Shah and bringing in this holy man that was going to make all this difference in the world, which he did not. I never knew what prejudice was. I may be Native American, but I was raised by my stepfather, who is lily white, and my mother is a Iranian not Iranian, of English descent, European descent. So I was raised very sheltered, and I was raised in the church. Didn't know nothing how ugly prejudice was. And during that time that I was going to college, and my husband was going to college, and I had 2 children, and we were trying to do what we could do, we were hit with some of the ugliest prejudice in the world. That is definitely an ugly thing. So, my experience with prejudice, I learned not to be prejudiced. People are people. And we are one. As the Native Americans say, we are one. And we should think as one. But anyway, trying to remember all of my story. Like I said, there is so much in there. But I believe the Ayatollah was placed into the Iranian government by our government. And I believe the Ayatollah betrayed us. Whatever the politics was, whatever the reason was for the overthrow of the government, Iran let us have it. And from that day forth, they let us have it. The whole system, the relationship between the United States and Iran changed during President Carter's time. I've got something in my eye. Sorry. I know I'm not supposed to rub it, but it feels good. The failed rescue mission was April the 26th. I don't remember the year, but it was in the 70s. It was a long time ago. I was in my 20s, early 30s. But the failed rescue mission could have not, it was impossible for it to be a rescue mission, because there was something going on between the United States and Russia. It's always Russia, Russia, Russia. We need to learn how to spell Russia, don't we? But anyway, it couldn't have been a rescue mission, because where the helicopter went down, where they were doing their operation, was hundreds of miles from where the hostages were. So if our mission would have been successful, there would never been a failed rescue mission, because there was no rescue mission. It was something else. But since the helicopter, I don't remember. I wish I had the videotape my son made when he was like 16 years old. He made a videotape for a presentation for his school. It was really good. He had all the facts down. And me, I'm going by memory. But whatever mission the United States had, it had nothing to do with the hostages. And it was made clear, and then it was covered up. So, yeah, President Carter had a lot of bad luck. He had a lot of betrayal. And I would like to know the story behind the Panama Canal. Why did he sell it for $1? So it's not that he was a bad president. Maybe he had bad advisors, but he had a lot of bad luck. So, during this time, my children and I learned the definition of prejudice. We saw a gas line. Our whole world was turned upside down. because I relied a lot on my church, and it's never been there since President Carter. So did President Carter destroy my church? Did he destroy the values of my church, that we could only go to church one day a week for the rest of our lives? I know this has nothing to do with my story, but it was funny. There was this Pentecostal girl. I mean, you can tell a Pentecostal from a mile away. They're distinct. They're like the Muslim girls in their chadors. You know she's Muslim, and you know she's Pentecost. So we have this Pentecostal girl. She married an Iranian. She took over the Muslim religion, and she's trying to look like a Muslim. She's about 50-50. I know, it's not funny. Her heart was in the right place, and I hope she's happily married still. Of all the relationships that were forged, only of all my friends, only one is still married till this day. Very strong relationship. Am I envious? Probably. You know, because it is your dream to grow up, have a happy family, have your picket fence. It's just like the movie Make Room for Daddy. And we don't all get it. It's like, too, we've become a throwaway society. Now, I would never put myself as saying I'm a throwaway society, part of the throwaway. I was part of the survival society. Yes, I married a lot before I was 25. But it wasn't because I was part of the throwaway society. It was because I was looking for home. I was looking for a connection, and I was looking in all the wrong places. Oh, the story I wanted to tell the most was, okay, we went to see President Carter in Beaumont, and one of my husband's cousins were there to see us. It took that man 2 hours in the bathroom to get ready to go see President Carter. I'm thinking to myself, I thought only women took that long, because we have to wash your hair, we have to curl our hair, we have to put our makeup on, we have to primp. So I started calling him Pretty Boy because it took him so long. Another time, Pretty Boy, we took him to our friend's house, and he's brand new in the United States. He doesn't know anything. He is totally dumb to our situation and culture and everything. So we give him a glass of iced tea and tell him it's got whiskey in it. He drinks that tea. He enjoys it. He has another glass of tea. He drinks it. And every time he gets a drink, he gets drunker and drunker. Power of the mind. Anyway, so we made it to see President Carter. And I mean, I've only been twice in my whole lifetime to go to a president rally. I went for Pence, and I went for Carter. And maybe I was too naive during all these problems that I had because I was looking at the world from a different perspective. I never saw President Carter as a bad president. I saw the government as not being so great. But you know, the president, he's the chief, but he has all these people behind to advise him and stuff. And I know he never planned on betrayal. But anyway, it was time to go vote for President Carter. And it was actually the first time I ever voted in my life. President Carter was the first president I ever voted for. So they don't teach you how to vote in school. They should, but they don't. They should bring back home economics, because home economics teaches everything. You got a class for everything. It should be more important than football, because it's life training, home economics. Anyway, I'm a home economist, if you can tell. I finished my college, I graduated, and they terminated home economics. Terminated it. I spent 4 years in college for nothing. But again, doesn't matter what I do in this life, I am in my major. So anyway, we're on our way to the polls. We get there, and my son Bobby, I guess he would be about 5, 6 years old, somewhere in there. And he was all excited to vote for President Carter. And I was at the wrong precinct, so they sent me away. So as we're driving down the road to get to the correct place, Bobby sticks his head out the window and he hollers, "Vote for Ford! Carter died!" So when we got ready to vote, he had no excitement whatsoever. I mean, if I keep talking and picking in my mind, because you notice everything is out of sequence. I would have more stories to tell about the years of Carter. My personal life, no, the Prejudice didn't last very long. It went away. The college students, after the Shah was gone, that all went down, and we directed ourselves in a different way due to the betrayal of Iran. And the gas lines went away. Life started turning back to normal. The hostages, sometimes I wonder if people even really gave thought to these people, except when the news would bring it into us, because we just went on about our daily lives. I don't understand. I don't remember why Iran took hostages. But it was something political that we have no charge of anyway. Sad time for those people. Even sadder for that one hostage. When he came back to the United States, he got mugged and murdered in the streets of his hometown. I don't know. I guess I'm at the end of my memories, because there's so much there. And I want to pay my respects to President Carter. I don't know if he was the worst president. but he sure did have a lot of bad luck. And as we're moving into the new year, I wish our world prosperity, peace, love, and remember, always smile. I love you.